Here.
Rosie?
She's here.
Page 85, the Shabbos book. This is all a part of the producing the dye. Producing the dye, so they had to get involved with from the very beginning of the planting and the reaping and the preparing, all the different steps that take after that. So we have plowing. Last week we spoke about planting, and to soil, after they planted and put in the seeds, the sowing, they had to do plow it a second time. So what is the purpose of plowing?
Which page?
No, this is page 85. What is the purpose of plowing? What do we want to accomplish? Anyone? Plowing itself is digging up the ground, making furrows. What are we doing?
Preparing for planting.
Preparing for planting. And the plowing itself is, what is its purpose? Plowing is digging up the ground. What is its purpose? Is to
Grow.
No, nothing is growing yet. We're preparing the ground. So what will it do? What are we trying to accomplish by plowing? Trying to loosen the earth. Whatever we would put seeds, we would put seeds on top of the ground. If it was not plowed, what are the chances of it's growing? Small. So therefore we loosen the ground, the seeds go into the ground, and now it enables it to grow. So the idea behind plowing is loosening the ground. That's something that we have to remember. It'll come back to us at a later time. So we are loosening the ground in order to put the seeds in the ground. Now, anything that prepares the ground. So now we have on page 86. So many a time we want to put nutrients into the ground. So when we put in seeds, it will grow well. So that's called fertilizing. Then you have, in order to plant, you want the seeds all to go in the ground. And if it's stones and things of that sort, seeds are going to go on the stones. We don't want that. So we clear away all the stones, all the rubble. So we clear the ground. Then we also have that when we're going to be sowing, we want it to be level ground to create an even platform. So that would be filling in all holes, taking away all mounds, straightening out the ground.
Wait, before Shabbat? Or
This is all.
before Shabbat?
Mm-hmm.
Before Shabbat?
This is all we're speaking about before Shabbos. Everything before Shabbos. And on Shabbos, we cannot do any of these things. So anything that's a part of this malacha is forbidden on Shabbos. So that would also include, we take out all the weeds, because if there are weeds there, they're going to take away the nutrients from the seeds. They're not going to grow, so we taking them out. And also, before we're going to put the seeds in the ground, we're going to make it moist. We're going to put the water. So watering the ground, even if there is no plants growing yet, there are no seeds yet, but preparing the ground, doing that on Shabbos in order to prepare the ground, that itself is a malacha. So all of these activities that have to do with preparing the ground for planting, this is all forbidden on Shabbos. Now, these are all Torah prohibitions. So if someone does that on Shabbos, they violated a Torah prohibition. And now we have the rabbinic safeguards. The rabbinic safeguards are such that we should not come to a point that we'll be transgressing. Now, the same idea that we have about straightening out the ground, prepare it for planting, you also have the same also in a residential area. Have you heard of those who have earthen floors? idea would be that in a yard where nothing is growing there, but it's earth there. You want it to be neat. There are some homes that at one time, maybe they still do, have earthen floors. You ever hear of that? So in Russia, there's people that lived in a city called Samarkand. So there was the old city and the new city. The new city had paved flooring. The old city had earthen floors. So what you would do is you walked in, you tracked in from time to time. You had to take out the old sand, sweep out all the old sand, put in new sand, straighten out the floor. This is all a part of, and doing that on Shabbos is called building. So how does the rabbinic safeguard apply? And that would be sweeping the ground or a house, because if it's an earthen floor, we might be moving the ground, might be moving the earth, the sand, and straightening it out, leveling it. So leveling it in a place where you plant, that would be the malacha of plowing. Doing it in the house would be the malacha of building. So, can we sweep floor on Shabbos? Using a broom on Shabbos. What's the story?
Yeah.
Why?
Because no one has earthen floors anymore.
Okay. Answer one is correct answer that our floors are not of earth, so there's nothing to push. However, there are three opinions in halacha. What happens if it is a paved floor? Can you sweep? And there are three different opinions, and therefore there are those who made a strictness to follow. The more strict opinion is that any broom that is strong enough, the bristles are hard enough to be able to move earth, those should not be used on Shabbos.
Even
Which would be
like inside on a tile
even on a tiled floor. So, so therefore it is recommended to use a soft bristled broom. I was looking downstairs to see if I have a soft bristled broom. I could not find one, so I couldn't bring it up as demonstration what's a soft bristled broom. But there is, when you go to the store to see brooms, there would be one that was called a Shabbos broom, and that would be, even if it doesn't have a mark in Shabbos broom, when you test the bristle to see how stiff they are, and you try to visualize, if this were to be in the yard, and you were to sweep the yard, would it be strong enough to move the earth? If the answer is yes, we would refrain from using that broom on Shabbos. And you do have the outside brooms that are very, very stiff. That's meant to move earth. It's like it's a push broom. You ever see that? Anyone have yards? Anyone sweep? Yards? But anyway, there's a push broom that's very, very stiff, and that really would do a job of moving the earth, whatever is there. That certainly should not be used on Shabbos. And then you have just to go with a soft bristled broom. Now, when you are sweeping the broom with a broom on Shabbos, and what do you do after you sweep everything together? What's the next step you do?
Put it in the dustbin.
Yes, how do you get it there?
Put it inside.
You're not gonna sweep it straight into the dustbin. What do? You have what do we do?
Dustpan.
The dustpan is the one with the shovel is that called the dustpan? Okay. I thought, okay, so dustpan is correct. Okay, so I did not know that that meant the little dustpan shovel. Okay, now, so we're going to sweep into there. So what happens if we have muktzah items on the floor that you've swept together? Can you sweep the muktzah items into the dustpan? And the answer is
Yes.
yes, because
Is it a shinoi? Why can you?
that's not a shino. You're just sweeping.
Is it
You're doing it's indirectly.
Shabbos?
Okay,
For Shabbos?
let's hear. See, say
Oh,
it again. Say it again.
Because you're making that house clean for Shabbos.
Okay. Now we do have a halacha, which we're going to be speaking at a later time as well, when we're going to go into the kitchen. And that would be, you have certain items that are muktzah.
What is that?
Muktzah means things that are put aside that we cannot handle on Shabbos. That would include things that could lead to a malacha, a pen, because holding a pen would lead you to, right? Then there are certain items, so let me see, with muktzah itself, there are different categories of things that cannot be handled at all. Rocks, branches of trees, those cannot be moved at all. Then you have those items that are called a keli, they're called a vessel, something that is usable. So it matters what it's usable for. If it's used for malacha, writing, so then we're limited on what we could do with this item on Shabbos. So take for instance the shells of nuts. So while they're still on the nut itself, then it's a food. Food item is not muktzah, could be handled, even though it has a shell over it, could be handled. Since it's something that we want it to be there until we're ready to use it, so let's say you have the peels of a banana, orange, you have the shell of an egg. As long as we want the shell to be on the egg in order to keep the egg fresh, clean. Once you take the shell off, what could be done with the shell? Generally speaking, in the weekdays, is there anything that is done with the shell after you've taken the shell off of an egg? What would be done with the shell? You would discard it. So it's garbage. So it's not something that would be in any way usable. So removing the shell of an egg on Shabbos when you're ready to use the egg, that would be permissible. But now, what do you do with the shell? So how would we remove the shell of an egg on Shabbos? Let's say it's a hard-boiled egg. We want to peel the shell. We want to peel the egg. What would be the right thing to do? What should we do? We don't want to have any problems with the shell after it's off the egg. What would we do? It's muktzah. Yeah, the shell is muktzah. What would we do?
Throw it away.
Huh?
Throw it away.
I know, but tell me the steps of what you would do that shouldn't be any problem at all. Peel it over the garbage can. So it goes in, you're not going to be handling it at any point. So it's not an issue because you don't have it there. Now someone did peel it on the peel it over the garbage can. So as you're taking it off, you're not going to be handling it anymore, it's in the garbage. Now someone did not do that and they peeled the egg on the counter. So now it is muktzah.
Egg is muktzah?
No, the shell is muktzah. Because we said again, it's not edible for anything. Something that's edible for an animal, then it's food. It's animal food. But the egg shell is not edible. So we have now the shell of the eggs on the countertop.
Every shell is muktzah, like shell of banana.
So if something that an animal could eat, so then it's not muktzah. Because it's an animal food. So let's so if you give it to an animal. So let's say I would say the peel of an orange. Some people like to.
Not a regular information. You need like Google to know what animal can eat and not.
Okay, that's you have to. Yes.
So with the egg example, there are people who take the egg shells and then feed them back to the chickens as a source of calcium. So would it then count as food? Or?
If you have chickens, yes.
But if you don't have chickens, but if you don't have like any animals within the orange peel.
But the animals are available. In other words, if you live next to a neighbor that has the chickens, you would from time to time,
Okay,
feed the animals, it would be something that's,
so if I have a neighbor who has chickens,
mhm.
that I have no part in feeding the chickens, and I will never feed the chickens, is it then muksa? if
Yeah, you
I,
should, yes, you should.
Okay.
Now, so what's the next thing to do? Now we have the eggshells on the counter, and, can we move it?
You got the little piece of the egg and put it with the mix it.
If you have something permissible with unpermissible, and that would, so if you did, shell it in a plate that has some edible food in it, then you could remove the whole plate because of the edible food that is there. So the plate is not completely muktzah, it's serving muktzah and non-muktzah, and therefore you would be able to move the plate.
Move it,
Could take it to the garbage,
okay. Can you keep the edible ones and take it off?
yeah, you could take that out.
What that?
When if you're ready to use it, it's called bowl errands, you're selecting, if you're ready to use it. Now,
Okay.
going back again now to, it's on the countertop. So this is garbage. This is garbage. And can you remove garbage or not? It matters how much it bothers you. It is subjective. If, when looking at the garbage, it makes you feel very uncomfortable, you could not really tolerate garbage, so then you are permitted to remove the garbage. If it's something that you could not tolerate, then you could remove it. We would try to do it in an unusual way. So we would take the garbage can next to the counter, and we would do it, instead of taking the garbage like this, we would do it in an unusual way, in a backhanded way. So remember that it's Shabbos, we're doing it not in the normal way, but it's only if it really bothers you. If it doesn't bother you, leave it there until after Shabbos, or if it's an option that you cover it up so it doesn't bother you, that's another option. So something that is disgusting to you, you are permitted to remove. Now, so this is all an introduction to our sweeping into the dustpan, that you have muktzah items on the floor, there are some shells on the floor, there's some bones on the floor, whatever is on the floor, and you want to, the reason why you're sweeping up is because you want it to be neat on Shabbos. You could not tolerate when you have the bones and shells and everything else that's on the floor. So then you would sweep it into the dustpan and then discard it.
In an unusual way or just?
No, then you could just, that with the dustpan, you could use it. You're not holding it, you're putting it in a secondary thing. Okay.
A fan without a fan that doesn't work is also acceptable.
Then it's double muktzah,
Why?
because there's no use of it whatsoever. So let's say a pen that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so a pen that does work is called a keli, it's called a vessel. So technically, if it's something that's not expensive and you want to use it for a permissible activity, then you would technically be able to do so. Let me give an example. Let's say you have a hammer. A hammer is used for building. A hammer is muktzah, but it's called, halachically, it's called a vessel. So a vessel that is used for forbidden activities, you are permitted to move it if you're going to be using it for a permissible activity. So let's say, for instance, I'm trying to keep this window open and it keeps falling down. I need something to prop it up. So I could take the hammer, put it under the window, stand it up, and it's going to be holding up the window so the window doesn't fall all the way. I'll be able to, so I'm using it for a permissible activity, but the reason I'm allowed to use it is because it is a vessel. It's a hammer. That's halachic vessel. If I want to do the same thing with a rock, I'm not able to do so because a rock is not a vessel. A rock is muktzah intrinsically. It is a muktzah item. I cannot move it for any purpose at all.
What if it's blocking?
So then I would, if I cannot get into the house, let's say the rock there, I can move it with my foot. So Moving muktzah would technically be with your hands in a normal fashion. Moving with other parts of the body would not be a transgression. If I want to, so if the pen is on the table, I don't want it here. And then,
So it's okay to do it?
Yeah.
You do it like with change, you do it like.
yes,
Okay.
because I need a place.
If you
Because I
need
need
the
a
place.
So it's either I need a place or I'm using it for something that is permissible, where it's, the thing that I'm using is also something that is not going to be ruined. If it's going to be ruined, then I cannot, that would be something that is, or something that's very expensive, I would not use for ordinary use. If I have a tool that is a professional tool, I would not use it for anything other than for what it's designated. If I'm a surgeon and I have a scalpel, I'm not gonna cut a salami with my scalpel. It's gonna ruin the blade. So then I cannot use the scalpel to cut salami. But if it would be another type of knife where it doesn't, it's fine if I cut other items with it, other than what is designated, then that would be fine. Okay. So sweeping the ground or the house on Shabbos should be done with a soft bristled broom, and that does not move the earth if it were to be done outside. So even though the house itself is tiled, still one would look for a soft bristled broom to sweep on Shabbos. Number 2, playing with nuts or marbles or similar objects on the ground. So if there is a game that's on the ground that you need a clear court, so then we are concerned that you might straighten out the earth in order to play properly. So you cannot play those games on Shabbos. Outdoors on the earth to begin with. So let's say a game that you need precision, you need a straight, that you're concerned about would be, let's say, golf. So normally, if you're playing golf and you're right by the hole, you would smooth out everything, so you're going to be able to hit it softly, and it's going to go into the hole. And so playing that on Shabbos would be forbidden. So what about playing on? So since so what about on a tiled floor? So since playing these games are not a necessity, it's more restrictive. We said we could sweep a tiled floor. But playing games on a tiled floor is not recommended. If there is a carpet, that's fine. On the table is fine. Or if it's a game that does not include rolling, then on the floor, then that would also be fine. For children, we would say that's fine. So playing catch is not an issue because it's not meant to be on the ground.
Because what?
It's not on the ground. It's not a ground. It's not a ground game. It's throwing it in the air. Our concern is that you might straighten out the ground in order to get a better. The game should be played properly. Does anyone play marbles? Put down a marble, and then you roll another one to hit this one down. So now you need that this whole area will be smooth and straight in order to hit this. So if the ground over here is not, so when you're going to be rolling it, it's going to go here. You're gonna miss it. So playing these games on Shabbos, so that is not to be done. On the table, it could be done because there's nothing to straighten here. On a carpet, it could be done. On a mat, it could be done, but not on a tiled floor, or certainly not outside.
Why doesn't it tile the floor? You're not going like this to the tile.
And I'm saying, but they said that since, so here we have the idea, once you get accustomed to playing on the tiled floor, the next step might be, if it's a nice sunny day, you might take it outside and play it outdoors instead of playing indoors. You're now accustomed to rolling things on the tiled floor. In your mind, it seems to be the same way. What's the difference if you're playing on a tiled floor or if you're going to play outdoors? So we are concerned that it might lead from the tiled floors to the outdoor
But what's the difference between a carpet and a tile floor?
Because you've done something additional, that's a separate, since you know they could only play on a carpet, and in your mind, you know there's something about Shabbos that is an issue played with rolling things on the ground.
And in the couch,
Couch is fine, couch is fine.
So the point is not to change the earth.
That's correct. So you have those games, anyone knows what jacks are? Jacks could, little things that you throw up and you catch, but it's all a catching game. You're not rolling the jacks on the floor. So that game is fine. Playing catch is fine. Anyone know what croquet is? Croquet is you have hoops. This is an outdoor game. You have a mallet, you have a wooden ball, and you have to hit with the mallet, the ball has to go through the hoop. And if the ground is not straight, it's not going to go into the hoop. So you have to straighten out the ground to make sure they're going to do the shot. It should be able to go into the hoop. That game is a floor rolling game. Same thing is also with soccer. So these games should not be played on the unless it's covered. So ping pong is could be played. It's a table game. So ping pong is not going.
Basketball.
Basketball. Now, I didn't come to a conclusion of that. Does it have to be a level floor? In other words, you're playing on an earthen floor. Would you first make a proper court in order to play basketball properly? I've not come to any conclusion on that. I would think that if you're playing basketball, you make sure that the court is a good court. And when you're going to, if it's all bumpy and everything else bumpy outdoors, it's not going to bounce well. That's my thought. Yes.
Would another problem for basketball be maybe throwing the ball outside somewhere where there's an arrow?
That is definitely an issue. So if there is, you see it when children are playing in the alleyway here in Crown Heights. And you have the alleyway has a Pesach, it's closed off halachically, it has two poles, it has a spring across, makes it into a doorway. And you see the kids playing in the alleyway. And then the ball goes outside the courtyard. Then what happens? So different children react in different ways. Some children run after the ball and bring it back in. Others will wait until someone who's not Jewish will walk by and ask them to give them the ball. So that would be an issue. I would not recommend, that the children should be playing in a place where the ball could go out of bounds, go into the street. It would be something dangerous that some children are so caught up in the game that they'll run into the street to begin with without watching to see if there are any cars. That would be a life threatening issue. And then you have so as far as playing ball on Shabbos is all together. What do we say about playing ball on Shabbos? There's I would say it's age related. Children, I would not stop them from playing ball. This is something that's their Shabbos. What about adults? Adults playing
If you're playing baseball, don't hit a home run.
baseball,
Don't hit a home run over the
or go over the fence. So it's not recommended that to spend the Shabbos in a weekday type of atmosphere. This is more of a weekday atmosphere rather than a Shabbos atmosphere. And doing things in the Shabbos atmosphere is a part of halacha. So we gave the sources, we had the Navi, the Yeshayahu, Isaiah, saying that the special rewards that come to someone who refrains from acting on Shabbos in a weekday manner. So there's great rewards that Hashem promises. That would include how you walk, your speech, how you conduct yourself. It should be not in a weekday way, but in a Shabbos.
They walk. What is that?
Yes, not to run only to shul, but to run around and
You're rushing around, don't rush.
rushing. If you're rushing to somewhere, to a shiur, rushing to that would be fine. But,
To the shul, it's great.
yeah, well, rushing to shul,
Or they
yes.
like
To
Torah.
a shul, to learning Torah, also good. Yes.
But if you're walking, like if you're going to walk
Going to walk, it should be more,
Relaxing,
more relaxing.
but if you would first in general.
You're not restricted from that.
Okay.
We're speaking about putting in extra toil, extra effort.
Okay.
Can I have a question?
Yes.
To take take orange or banana from the trees, okay?
Mhm.
Is
So,
that-
so picking, that's our next malacha. Picking something from its place of growth is a Torah prohibition. It's called kotzer. It's called the malacha of reaping, removing something from its place of growth. That itself is a malacha. That itself is a prohibited activity. I thought you were going to ask another question is, we have peeling the banana, peeling an orange. So we're separating the unwanted from the wanted. Is that permissible on Shabbos?
Yeah.
Generally, separating a selection on Shabbos is a malacha. So when are you allowed to peel your banana and orange? When are you allowed to do so?
You can peel the orange right over the trash can, like the
So,
egg.
orange, I think, would be more like you could eat the rind inside, and then some people like them. I would not feel restricted with the orange, but peeling it over the wastebasket.
Is it because it's inedible?
It's not edible, right? So now we have an issue of separating something that is edible and not edible. Is there any? It's a malacha for itself called borer. So since we mentioned it, when is it permissible? When is it not permissible?
When you're ready to eat it.
When you're ready to eat it, then it's called the manner of eating. It's not a malacha. It's not selecting. It's not separating. It is eating. You're not expected to eat a banana with its peel. You're not expected to eat an orange with its peel. In order to eat, you have to remove it. So when you're ready to eat, that's when you remove it. If you do it for a later time, then that's a malacha. You're doing the same action, matters when you're doing it. Either it's a Torah prohibition or it's something that's completely permissible. And when you are preparing, you're going to be making a fruit salad for your meal. So you don't have to wait until everyone's ready to eat their salad to be able to prepare the fruit salad. You can do that before the meal begins. All the items that have to be done, that are going to be eaten during this meal, could be then done before the meal. So if you're going to be serving during the meal your fruit salad that consists of also the oranges, the peeled oranges and peeled bananas, other items that are being peeled, the watermelon. So all of this could be prepared before you're ready to start the meal, even though you're going to be served an hour later, 2 hours later. That is considered a part of the meal, and therefore that is permissible without any restriction.
So say, you're gonna serve it at, because it's summer, you're gonna serve it at 5, can you do it at 11 AM?
No,
Okay, it has to be
it has to be.
upcoming.
That's correct.
And I'm sorry, did you say the orange peel should be over the garbage?
No, it doesn't have to be. You can some way, some people might eat it. It's an edible item. Okay. Now, page 86, we have dragging furniture, benches, heavy chairs on the ground. That it's certain that the dragging will create an obvious groove in the ground. So then that is forbidden to do so. The intention is not to make a groove in the ground, but since it's so heavy, you're definitely going to make a groove in the ground. Then you're not allowed to drag it across the ground because your result will definitely be a groove. So this would be in a place that you're intending to grow things, plant things. So let's say we have this chair has such legs that if you were to if it were to be on a soft earth, you drag it, you would get the furrow. I think it's, but is this heavy, or is this that heavy that is definitely going to make a furrow on the ground?
No, you didn't.
How heavy is this? Is this, if you were to drag this on a field that has not been plowed, it's a hard field, yes. And I want to drag this chair across. Is it definitely going to make furrows? If the answer is yes, then I have to carry it. If the answer is maybe, and since my intention is not to do so, and not having any benefit from this, then I'm not allowed to. So, since that's not my intention, it's not definitely going to happen, so then I could drag it, I don't have to. But if it's something that's definitely going to make a furrow, then I'm not allowed to do so. We put that in the same category as opening up the door or a refrigerator that has a bulb inside. We know definitely that's going to be the result. It's going to open up the light. So that would be called psikresha, something that we know definitely is going to be a malacha. Even though our intention is not to open the light, our intention is to get the food outside the refrigerator. So this still is a malacha. It's a Torah prohibition because you know the result and you know that's definitely going to happen. The same would also be with dragging something that's heavy on the ground. Depends on how heavy it is and what you anticipate is going to be the result. If it's definitely going to make a furrow, make a groove, then that would be a malacha. It's a place that is a planting place that you would normally put in seeds. So then it's a Torah prohibition. If it's something that you're not sure, your intention is not to do so, so then even if it does turn out that the furrow was made, no prohibition was done because it was not definite, and that was not your intention, and that's not the normal way of how you plow.
I mean, it's getting, so what if you're dragging it because you're not sure, it's not your intention, and then you see it does? Do you have to stop, now carry it the rest of the way, or can you just be more careful pulling it?
You, if again, once you see that it's a definite, then you got the answer.
Okay.
But if you're not sure, you say maybe this was just because the earth over here was a little softer than the rest of it,
Okay.
and I can continue
Just be more
dragging it.
careful.
Now, what about pushing? Now, then we have soft earth, and you have a baby carriage that's inside an eruv. It's an inside place where you're allowed to have this stroller carriage. Or you're allowed to, and it's soft ground, and you know that when you come from point A to point B, you're going to look back and you're definitely going to see the marks of the wheels in the yard. So the yard is a soft earth. Definitely, when you're going to be going with a carriage or a wheelchair or anything of that sort, you're going to go from point A to point B. You're going to look back. You're definitely going to get these lines. Is it permissible to take the carriage from point A to point B? You know the result. Let's hear what's your idea of this?
I would say yes, but I don't know how we justify it, but we'll do it.
Okay, the answer is yes. Now the question is why? When I started the class, I said plowing is, what's the definition of plowing? What did I say with the definition? Anyone remember?
Digging up and loosening.
Loosening the earth. Loosening the earth. So when I put a seed down, the seed is going to go into the ground. When I push the carriage from point A to point B, what is happening to the earth? It is becoming compressed. Compressed. It's not loosening. It's the opposite of plowing. So in that case, there's no such malacha. Compressing the earth is not a malacha, and therefore you are permitted to, if it's a place that you are allowed to wheel the carriage from point A to point B, even though you're going to get the furrows, you're going to get compressed markings where the wheels went through. It is something that is permissible because you're not doing the malacha of plowing, you're doing something that is no prohibition.
Thank you.
Thank you.